Greetings and welcome to the lesson. The topic is the financing decision. Today we continue with the long-term sources of funds. So far we've covered equity, debt. Today we proceed to the third long-term source known as hybrids. Hybrids, which is also known as hybrid instruments or hybrid securities. And these are financial instruments that combine features of both debt and equity. They possess characteristics of both the traditional debt and equity instruments, providing companies with a flexible and innovative means of raising capital. So in this lesson, we are going to discuss the characteristics of hybrids. We will look at the advantages of hybrids and the drawbacks of hybrids as long-term source of funding. Let us begin with the characteristics, the features, the attributes of hybrids. Attributes of hybrids. So candidates, by the end of the lesson, you should be able to explain or outline the characteristics of hybrids. You should be able to highlight the advantages and also the disadvantages of hybrids. So let us begin with the characteristics of hybrids. Now, the first characteristic of hybrids is the blend between debt and equity. Debt, equity blend. Debt equity blend. Remember, I've just said that hybrids combine both the features of the traditional debt and the traditional equity instruments. And a good example of hybrids is the convertible bonds, the mezzanine debt. We may have hybrids like the warrants, the preferred stocks, and so on. So one characteristic is the debt equity blend. The debt equity blend. Blend means combining. Hybrids combine the elements of debt and equity, which then allows companies to benefit from both the characteristics of both debt and equity. That's first characteristic. 2, fixed and variable returns. Fixed or variable returns. Hybrid instruments may offer fixed returns that are similar to debt or variable returns that are linked to company's performance, which resembles equity. Fixed and variable returns. Then we have convertible features. Convertible. Hybrids, some hybrids have convertible features, allowing holders to convert their instruments into equity shares under predefined conditions. Convertible features. 4, participation in profits. Participation in profits. Hybrid holders may participate in the company's profits, receiving maybe distributions or even dividends based on the company's performance. Based on the company's performance. 5, subordinated nature. Subordinated nature. What does that mean? That means that hybrids are often subordinated to the traditional debt. They are subordinated to the traditional debt, meaning in the event of bankruptcy, the claims of hybrid holders come after the claims of the traditional debt holders. When it comes to prioritization, then hybrids are subordinate to the traditional debt. Then we need to mention perpetual existence. That's a key characteristic of hybrids. Hybrid holders may, the hybrid instruments have no fixed maturity period or date, which provides a perpetual form of capital similar to equity. Perpetual, it gives company perpetual existence. So these are 6 features. Then how about the pros of hybrids? What are the pros of hybrids? Pros of hybrids. The first advantage is flexibility. Flexibility. Hybrids provide flexibility in structuring financing, and companies can tailor the terms and conditions to meet specific needs, blending features that suit their financial strategy. They are flexible. It offers what we call tailored solutions. It offers, this form of funding offers flexible terms. It offers flexible terms and structure, which allows companies to customize by blending the 2 characteristics of debt and equity. Do you understand? It offers flexibility in structuring financing. And I've said companies can do what? Can tailor the terms to meet specific needs. Flexibility. Number 2, it offers diverse investor base. Diverse investor base. Hybrids offer diverse investor base to the company, including both debt and equity investors, as well as those seeking a module or a middle ground between debt and equity. Diversity. Risk sharing. Number 3. Risk sharing. How is it an advantage? Hybrid instruments allow for sharing of risk between the company and investors may benefit from the upside potential while accepting a level of risk similar to equity shareholders, equity holders. 4, it offers what we call enhanced capital structure. Enhanced capital structure. Enhanced capital structure. The capital structure is enhanced. The use of hybrids contributes to a more diversified and resilient capital structure, which optimizes the overall cost of capital. Then we have convertible options. convertible options. Convertible options. Convertible options. How is this an advantage? Now, convertible hybrids provide the option for investors to convert their instruments into equity, which allows them to participate in potential capital appreciation. Convertible options. So these are 5 advantages. We will close the lesson by discussing the cons of hybrids, the cons of hybrids, the disadvantages of hybrids. The first obvious disadvantage is in relation to complexity. You understand? Complexity involves complex documentation, complex documentation, and that is a disadvantage, including negotiation, complex documentation and negotiation. Now, structuring and issuing hybrids may involve complex legal and financial considerations, which may require specialized expertise and higher transaction costs. That is a disadvantage. Complexity. It's complex in structuring these instruments. The hybrid structure can be complex, which can make it also challenging for investors to fully understand the terms and risks associated with the instruments. Complexity. Cost of interest rates, number 2. Cost of interest rates. Cost of interest rates. Cost of interest rates. Now, the cost of hybrids, including any fixed or variable costs, may be higher than the traditional debt. Additionally, hybrids are subject to interest rate risks, which affects their pricing and attractiveness. Costs and interest rates. That is a disadvantage. Subordination, from the word subordinate. Subordination. In the event of financial distress or in the event of bankruptcy, hybrid holders are subordinate to traditional debt holders, and that can impact recovery in case of liquidation. So that is a disadvantage from the point of view of the investors. For market acceptance. Market acceptance. The acceptance of hybrid instruments in the financial markets may vary. Do you understand? It may do what? It may vary. And investors' perceptions and willingness to invest in such instruments can influence the success of hybrid offerings. Because remember, we said that these instruments are complex. They are complex. They are not straightforward like equity or debt. There's also the feature of tailoring. Do you understand? So the market acceptance can vary the acceptance of the instruments can vary in the market, financial market, which can then affect investors, which affects investors' perceptions and also willingness to invest in such instruments. Market acceptance. 5, regulatory considerations. There are also regulatory considerations, what we may refer to as regulatory frameworks. And these regulatory frameworks for hybrids may also vary, and compliance with the relevant regulations can be crucial, or we can say is crucial. And companies must navigate the regulatory requirements when issuing hybrid instruments. Hybrids also are subject to covenants, which could be restrictive. Let me say covenants and restrictions. Covenants and restrictions. Now, similar to debt, hybrid agreements might impose covenants which can then restrict financial activities or future funding of a company, thereby limiting operational flexibility. Remember, we say that hybrids is a source of fund that combines both the debt and equity characteristics. It's a debt equity blend. So this feature of debt in relation to covenants and restrictions. And I've said similar to debt because some hybrids may take the form of debt, some features of debt, and one feature is having restrictive covenants, which might impose restrictions, financial restrictions, which may affect the operational flexibility of an organization. That is a disadvantage. So these are 6 drawbacks, 5 benefits, 6 characteristics. Characteristic number 1, a hybrid instrument is a debt equity blend. We have fixed and variable returns for those who invest in such instruments. These are returns, it can also be costs on the part of the company. It has convertible features. We've seen that there are some convertible bonds that can be converted into equity based on agreed terms and conditions. For participation in profits, hybrid instruments or hybrid holders may enjoy participation in profits just like the equity holders. Number 5, subordinated nature. When it comes to prioritization, when the company is being liquidated, then hybrids are subordinate to debt holders. Hybrid holders will be subordinate to the debt holders. Then the source also gives the company perpetual existence. They do not have maturity period like debt. These are 6 characteristics. Then the first benefit is that of flexibility. Number 2, hybrids give the company diverse investor base. There is risk sharing. We also have enhanced capital structure and convertible options. Disadvantage number 1, complexity, cost of interest rates, subordination, market acceptance, regulatory considerations, covenants, and restrictions. Now, candidates, in summary, we can say that hybrids offer a unique financing solution by combining both the features of debt and equity. They provide companies with flexibility. They provide companies with the ability to tailor financing structures in order to meet specific financial needs. But on the other hand, the complexity of hybrids and market acceptance are factors that require careful consideration when incorporating them into the company's capital structure or in the company's long-term funding strategy. And that brings the lesson to an end. I'm going to give you an assignment, 3 questions. Number 1, what are hybrid financing instruments and how do they combine elements of both equity and debt? Number 2, in what situations might a company choose hybrid financing over traditional equity or debt? And what advantages or disadvantages does it offer? 3, how do regulatory frameworks and market conditions influence the attractiveness and feasibility of using hybrid instruments for financing? These are 3 questions. Attempt the questions before coming to the next lesson, where we are going to study the characteristics, the disadvantages, and the advantages of leasing finance. Lease finance. Bye.